New tool in the shop. Little side light. I ordered this 3-in-1 12-inch metal brake shear roller from a company called Vevor or Vevor online. Not sure how you pronounce it. It was very poorly packed, but it doesn't look like anything's broken on there. And what I plan to do here today, I have a holiday from work, so I plan to go through the machine, and I'll throw some still pictures in there so you can see how poorly it was packed. But I'm going to basically go through the process of cleaning and setting up the machine. I'll do it in short snippets because I want to keep this week's video brief. But I hope you enjoy it, and stay tuned. It should be kind of interesting. In case you're wondering why I bought the 3-in-1 metal machine here, there's my Allen Mogul locomotive, and the boiler wrapper here that you see, this is all thin steel that's wrapped around the boiler. It's just got air, about 1/8 of an inch of airspace in between the boiler and the steel, and it provides a nice heat protection, sort of an insulation, and of course it looks good. So that one, we made those on my buddy Fred. He has a big, like 2-foot wide 3-in-1 machine, and for the Titch and for other smaller projects that I have in mind, the smaller machine that weighs only 100 pounds seemed to be a good choice. Plus it was relatively cheap compared to the larger machines. Okay, the Vevor machine did not come with a manual, and so I have bought a lot of stuff from Grizzly, and I really like their stuff, but their version was very much more expensive, like twice as much as the Vevor. So I went to the the Grizzly website, downloaded the manual, printed it out so I could do this. Then for the setup instructions, basically I went through and made a list of kind of a checklist for myself for the different stuff, and a little handy reference with the different pages for the adjustments for the future. So I'll go through, I'll show you. The first thing they ask you to do is to take an inventory, and I guess the Grizzly is shipped as the machine, and then these sub-assemblies. And when you see the pictures that I've inserted here about how terrible the packaging is, you'll see how important the inventory is. So I'm not going to waste your time going through all that stuff, but here's basically all the stuff that came with it that I fished out of the box, and I'm going to go through there now and assemble some of the sub-assemblies, and we'll bring you back for that. About halfway through the assembly here. The Vevor one is pretty similar to the Grizzly. It's easy enough to figure out. There was a good amount of cleaning to do. That's what I thought I would just show. This is one of the adjustments for the rollers here, and the bar was chewed up on the end, so I just used the belt sander and ground it off. I'm also using some Scotch-Brite and my custom mix of WD-40 and the 68 weight hydraulic oil that my buddy Russ told me about. It's a great substitute for like bow shield stuff. It cuts through the thicker things and it leaves a nice film. So I used it to clean up some spots along this roller here. So I'm going to continue on with the assembly, and I'll bring you back for some of the adjustments. Seemed like a good time to point this out. These knobs here control the tightness of the roll. If I can, let me see if I can back out here and show you as I twist it. I don't know if you can see the roller going up. It's pretty noticeable in person, and that will increase or decrease the diameter of the actual roll. Let me see if I can. Now I'm lowering it on this side. There you go. If I do it abruptly, you can see it move. There you go. So that's kind of cool. Both of those. And this is the support piece for the shear for material that comes out, and I've left it loose for now. Okay, working on the front part now. I loosened these bolts here that it calls for in the Grizzly manual, and I tried to adjust the table and bring it back. It wouldn't slide the way I needed it to, so I went ahead and removed it. And this is a perfect opportunity, though, to clean up the base and check around the inside. Everything looks okay so far, so I'll make some adjustments. These are the fine-tuning adjustments for the table. thought I'd just shoot a quick video of that. And obviously you can see I've sprayed it down with WD-40 to clean off. There's a little remaining residue on the upper rollers. Here's the first real problem I've found. It's not a big deal, but I was removing the fingers for the brake. I removed them, I filed them smooth, removed any burrs, degreased them, and when I went to reassemble it, there's two of them that, when I disassembled it, I noticed this one had a shim on it, and anyway, these two were loose. So I've put a 5 thou brass shim, and I reinstalled that shim there. Just put some crazy glue on it to hold it. We'll see how long that lasts. Okay, got it all back together following the directions in the Grizzly book. And this one here was actually a little bit loose, so I went ahead and cut a piece of 5 thou brass shim and used the crazy glue, glued it to it as well. I don't know if the Grizzly ones or the other brands have that kind of problem, but easy fix. We'll see how long it lasts or if it's any bigger problem. Strangely, the one thing the book doesn't really explain in detail, but I guess it didn't take me long to figure out, but how to basically disengage the brake and the shear from the rollers. So what you do, these are splined hubs here. You can just pull them out and it gives a little space. You can see that on both sides. And then for the lower part, you just back off this screw down here with a hex head, and I'll show you what it does. You basically, well, disengage is the right word, so you can move the handle through all the way around in a circle, and you can see that the shear and the brake do go up and down, but not enough to engage. So that's the magic of the 3-in-1 right there, is just the splined hubs at the top, and then loosening the bolts at the bottom to help it disengage. The only other thing I've found that I'm going to have to do is these are some metric bolts here that are clearly they're the last parts remaining. It looks like they're made to adjust the top, and it's no problem except the knobs are too large, and the little the cover interferes with them. So I'm going to see if I can find some leaf bolts or something, or a different variety of bolt at the hardware store, just to replace these things. Worst come to worst, I can always trim the heads down a little bit to provide the clearance, but it's kind of disappointing. But that's the main thing so far that I'm gonna have to fix: the shimming and then the bolts on the head part. So pretty happy so far. Hey folks, well, I hope you enjoyed that little excursion, the side trip to the 3-in-1 machine. I did resolve one thing. The bolts actually don't have to be replaced. They will clear the cover by if they're up high enough. If they're down, they're a little bit snug and it will interfere. So I might try to replace those with something like the leaf bolts that are in the Grizzly description. They're the Grizzly parts manual. So we'll see. Also resolved one other thing about the name of it, whether it's Vevor, however you pronounce it. Well, I got something off of eBay that will resolve that completely. How about Binford? I got some Binford stickers off of eBay, just like I used for my homemade 6-ton brake press in the back there. So you can see the finished product. I hope you enjoyed it. Please ask any questions that you might have, or if there's suggestions, things I missed. This is my first time owning a machine like this. So I'm excited to have it and to try it out, and we'll see what cool things I can make with it. Thanks everybody, hope you have a great week.